having a conclave, very well attended by people who've given up a working day in the morning of their working days here, tells us a story. It's a very significant story. And the story is that when it comes to business, India and the UK are poised at a very, very different trajectory than had hitherto been the case. It reminds me of the time when I first came to the UK in 1975, and when the idea of India-UK business was woefully one-sided. It was colored by perceptions of aid, it was colored by perceptions of poverty, it was colored by perceptions of the whole issue of race and immigration. Not that those issues don't remain, some of those issues are alive, but I think it's been overtaken far more significantly by newer and newer challenges, whereby India and UK today enjoy almost an equal partnership. And I want to stress that it's no longer a one-sided, a relationship of unequals. It's really become a partnership of equals. I recall in the 70s, a rather controversial British parliamentarian who was a friend of mine also, Enoch Powell, used to talk about India and Britain, the relationship being a shared infatuation. And I think that really sums it up. Because through all the complexities, through all the ups and downs, there has been a very enduring relationship. And today, that relationship has touched a new dimension. And I think this has also got to do with the fact that today we have a Gujarati at the helm. One of the interesting facets of having a Gujarati at the helm is that the Gujaratis are essentially trading. It's a trading community. Being on the coast, not being blessed with many natural resources, etc. But more important, the Gujaratis look not only to the domestic market, but also to the overseas market. And I think that is a change which has happened very, very important in India. It's a change which the political class hasn't fully cottoned on to as yet, I regret to say. That India is no longer a recipient of capital. India is today an exporter of capital. And I think in the UK, they realized this far earlier than we did this in India. It's only recently that we are tapping into the potential of the diaspora. How the diaspora has got merged into our foreign policy calculations. That the diaspora is seen as a potential ambassador, goodwill ambassador of India. And I think that's also linked to the whole dimension today that India not only sees itself as exporter of manufactured goods, of services, it sees itself as an exporter of capital. And more important than that, I think even when this issue of immigration, which has often colored the India-UK relationship, the export of India today is no longer unskilled manpower, but a highly skilled manpower, which could be called a potential brain drain for India, but it's an investment into the innovative skills of the receiving country. And these are certain facets which I think should cover. And then there is this larger issue of the FTA. The Brexit vote was a vote which was highly contested, bitterly fought, etc. within the United Kingdom. We in India didn't have very much of a role in terms of what our views on the Brexit were. But what is important to us is that what are the challenges which Brexit offers as far as India is concerned, and what are the opportunities it offers. And I think the best way to address that question would be to see in what way we felt in India our relationship with the European Union had significant shortcomings. One of the most important shortcomings as far as India-EU relations were concerned was the fact that we saw a lot of non-tariff barriers which were put in place there. In India, we regarded the EU as highly protectionist. No doubt India itself has a very protectionist tradition, but we also felt that the EU was highly protectionist in its orientation. Secondly, we felt in India that as far as the EU was concerned, its attitude to trade was often guided by a degree of moral sanctimoniousness, which was needless and moreover non-commercial. That the process of EU lawmaking had set up highly complex issues which were making life absolutely miserable for a lot of SMEs operating in any part of Europe. And that was a deterrent. Now today, I don't know what the future of this Brexit negotiations will be. It's again one of those things which leaves us utterly confused in India sometimes, and I'm sure it leaves a lot of people in the United Kingdom also equally confused. But whatever the outcome, if the United Kingdom is to come into a post-Brexit regime, I think it would be interesting, or it would be instructive for them to also take into account what were some of the misgivings that we in India had as far as the EU was concerned, and try and address some of them. There have been suggestions that the United Kingdom will reinvent itself as a European Singapore. Now that might seem a little impractical perhaps, but I think if we look at the larger objective of that mission, that if the United Kingdom as the originator of the doctrine of free trade was to come nearer that position, it would be good. Number two, as far as regulations are concerned, whether the ease of doing business which we are trying to implement in India, sometimes patchily, sometimes speedily, I think it's still work in progress. I think there is an equal amount of that which needs to be done as far as the EU is, as far as the UK is concerned, particularly for the benefit of the SME sector, which finds itself burdened with a lot of over-regulation. And finally, on this question of immigration, which has often been a great, it's a sort of a dark cloud which hovers around India-UK relationship, which is stated and sometimes unstated, but it certainly has a bearing on official negotiations. I think it's important to recognize that today any outward emigration from India is essentially that of capital and skills, and that it is inherently linked with a sense of co-prosperity of both countries, both the country which gives out the immigrants and the receiving country, and that therefore to see it as a threat any longer would perhaps be an exaggeration. These, to my mind, are some of the factors which should govern India-UK relations, have been governing it for a long time. But what's very, very important in my mind, that we are working together through various forums, not only bilaterally, through other European countries, through the Commonwealth, and most important, from the people-to-people relationship. This people-to-people relationship between the India and the UK is so deep-rooted and so profound. And I think this is the biggest motor, this is the biggest engine as far as the future of economic cooperation, economic development, and economic linkage which will happen between India and the United Kingdom.